Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. I'm Gamey Daddy, or you could call me Amake, and I'm a content creator on the Gamey Daddy channel. This is the Video Game Fight School channel where we dedicate all the content here to Batman, superhero, and a lot of the different aspects of that universe in terms of gaming. So you are on another episode of a walk through Batman Arkham City, and I have with me a co-host who's going to also be walking through this process, and he is FatNinja DM, and he is living vicariously through me as I play this game and he watches, and he's commenting on this from the perspective of somebody who is not necessarily a Batman fan, but more of the Marvel side of things. So what I'm hoping is by the end of the series, we would have added a new Batman fan to our ranks. And so, Mr. Fat Ninja, for those who are, new to this whole series, go ahead and introduce yourself to them so that they can know who you are.
All right, thank you, Gamey. Yep, my name is Fat Ninja DM. I'm a RPG fanatic. Love running RPGs, playing in RPGs, and my mission statement is social enlightenment through positive gaming. I've been a dungeon master for about on and off for 23 years, and I'm just really excited to take this journey with gaming because there are so many aspects of the gaming universe that yes, you hear professionals talk about, and I'm not saying that Gamey's not a professional, but he is a gamer like we are. He's not paid by a big corporation to give falsified statements about games and stuff like that. So it's just really cool to be able to sit with a lover of games and the whole dichotomy of such. So it's just really cool, and it's just really cool to have another nerd to nerd out with. So once again, I'm Fat Ninja DM, and let's go ahead and get into this.
All right, cool beans. So we last time you were watching, we were talking about Catwoman and her entire enterprise and how she made her way all the way through to go pester what's her name, Poison Ivy, but all that footage got scrapped out because of some technical issues. But the good thing about this game is there's so much content and so much of the experience that even if you lose 30 minutes, that's just a little drop in the ocean. So we're in this little level, this layer design, and that's what we're going to focus on talking about, because this level and this little arena is kind of a setting for a bigger fight that's going to happen. And we were talking about the rogue gallery, talking about how the developers were very, very, in tune in making sure that they brought different villains to the front. Now, as you're listening to this, Mr. Fat Ninja, you can hear, we've already got to see Poison Ivy. We've got to see Hugo Strange. We've got to see, the Penguin in the beginning of the game. And now we're hearing the Penguin again. So we've seen multiple villains and also multiple so-called heroes or anti-heroes in the case of Catwoman and in the case of Poison Ivy. So with this whole roster, what do you think the developers have been able to achieve in this game? And we're basically like an hour and a half into it. Do you think they have done a good job in lining them up, or do you think it's not sufficient enough? Let me know your thoughts.
Oh no, they got it set up just right because you don't want to. What's that saying? Have all your eggs in one basket. You want to, spread out the rose gallery, or spread out the breadcrumbs so the trail is definitely leading the right way. And with Batman's rogue gallery, there are so many different variants of the villains, so you don't have to rush with the presentation of the villains because they all got their origin stories, of course, because
Mm.
comics, and how they interact with the Arkham universe is also unique because they're not a conglomerate of villains that work together. Sometimes they do in certain aspects. For the most time, they're doing their own thing. They have their own motivation, so they interact with the world differently. And
Mm.
that's also what makes a good rogue gallery. You don't want them to be all generic paper cut guys and gals doing the exact same thing. So yeah, they're once again, it's spot on. It's hitting on all cylinders.
That's good. That's good. That's good. And with the stealth mechanics, I think this is one of the very first few places where we're kind of seeing the stealth mechanics play out. And I don't know if you notice, I'm having to do a lot of waiting around. And you talked about stealth mechanics in one of our last episodes. You talked about, how you enjoyed Splinter Cell. And I sold you that Gotham Knights coming out, in the next few months, next year, 2021, is actually being directed by one of the people who delivered Splinter Cell a while ago through Ubisoft. So far, do you think that this game, even though it's a different game from that, that game, and it's a different team, do you think this game is actually fulfilling what stealth mechanics, can look like? And, judging that it's Batman, I mean, of course, he has some other things that other stealth people may not have. Like, he can launch with his grapple hook from vantage point to vantage point. But at the same time, just because you can do that, in my opinion anyways, it doesn't mean you're just going to abuse that. I'm having to wait my turn. I'm having to do all this stuff. What do you think the quality is so far from somebody who's watching? Are you looking and saying, I could have done it better, or, this is actually quite tight, the way the enemy NPCs are moving? What do you think so far, having to take down all these villains and all that?
Okay, when you're talking about stealth mechanics, the first thing that you're really truly looking at is like having that feeling of power. Like, you're in the shadows, they can't see you, but you can see them, and they're just going about doing their little things, doing their little rounds. But you're sitting there watching them, knowing that you are going to mess up their whole entire day. They think that they're going to go on break in about 15 minutes and get that, good peanut butter and jelly sandwich that they got made for lunch. But they just don't know. You're not going to get a chance to eat that sandwich because you're either going to die or you're going to get knocked out and strung upside down. So that in itself is, perfect, the way that the stealth mechanics are implemented in this game. And then the second thing is the execution of your attack from shadows. Is it fluid? Is it janky? And with this, I mean, it's just super fluid. I mean, you have all your vantage points, and another layer gets put on top of it with his detective vision. You get to see all the little hiding spots where you could go to hide. So it doesn't make it easier. It just gives you a better tool to know your surroundings and then how to attack the enemy from the shadows.
Cool. It's crazy that you're seeing the same thing, because I'm having to wait around a little bit. Now, there's a mechanic here that I want you to watch for. Okay. It's a very interesting mechanic. Now, in this whole battle, I'm going to turn the volume up on the game very lightly. But in this whole battle, the moment I took out one guy, the Penguin actually had heart monitors on all of them. So the moment one guy's heart rate slowed down from being super unconscious, the Penguin started to inform them. Every time somebody's heart rate changed, the Penguin informed everybody. So that's why they started looking around for one another. If I take out one person, if you notice, they'll run there, even though I did it very quietly. So that mechanic was actually very interesting for the very first time you were playing it. Like, it throws you off, if you get what I mean. Now, when I take out the second to the last of the bad guys, you're going to see something very unique about this scene. So give me 1 second, and I want you to listen to it for yourself, and I want you to react. Okay? So let me get my act together.
Someone tell me where
Because it's not going to be very easy to just do that without the other one seeing me. So I need to find the opportunity, as we say. Okay, that guy's going over there. I can go into grates and take that guy down from behind. Let me see where the other one is. The other one's going upstairs. I wonder if I can come out and grab this guy from behind, because he's just standing there. Okay. I might be able to come out and follow him. Okay. Alright, I got him.
Is it too much to ask that you just do your job and stop him? Tell me it's not.
Please, I give up. Look at me.
It's
I'm dropping
just
my
you,
weapon.
son.
You don't need to hurt me.
Do you see that? Did you see that, Mr. Ninja? He surrendered.
Yeah.
He surrendered. Isn't that very interesting? I want you to react to this. I don't know how you see this, but think about this mechanic done in the time that it was done. I'm just standing here looking at the last guy, and I think this is very funny. I wasn't expecting this, So the beginning of the fight and the end of the fight are two things I'm not expecting, right? I'm not expecting that the Penguin will have a heart monitor on them. You know, so
Right.
that kind of it throws you off a little bit. You know, I'm like, oh, crud. They're not looking for the guy that I just took out. So I need to move vantage points, right? It kind of changes your whole dynamic because I may have been targeting somebody, but now I got to adjust my playstyle. That's the first one. Then the second unexpected thing is not only is the Penguin just telling them in their ear, I now have this guy in my sights. He's standing here. He surrendered. And in his ear, you can see his little earpiece where the Penguin's been talking to him. So the detail is there, you know. So tell me what you think.
Yeah, because like in so many other games, like say like I made the a reference to Splinter Cell. When you take out guards in Splinter Cell, a lot of them don't have the, they didn't have the heart monitors. If you wasn't seen by somebody, you took somebody out. His buddy could have just been talking to him 5 minutes ago, and when he didn't come back in 5 minutes, he didn't realize. Oh, hey, Charlie was supposed to come back about 5 minutes ago. Oh crap, something's up. So no, that throws in a nice variant of like, hey, if I attack from shadows, I'm basically invincible. Like, no, you're preparing to attack from shadows, and even though you did attack from the shadows, nobody's seeing you. The heart monitor thing is like, oh boy, wait, what? So now you kind of get that little burst of adrenaline. It's like, okay, what do I do now? I got to go hide and figure out what to do next. So yeah, that's really really cool how that got implemented, and it's and it's not even a caveat that was forced in there. That would be something that the Penguin would do because he's been in such an enemy. He's been an enemy of Batman for so long. He knows how Batman operates, just like Batman knows how Penguin operates. So it makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I thought that was really interesting, and to see that being done in that time was actually really interesting. And the Penguin also, he's a menace. He knows that Batman will always outclass him, and so he had just that extra step. And it was, from the perspective of the gamer, if it's your first time, you're kind of like, whoa, where did that come from? I was not expecting all of this, but you pretty much you get to see it and you get to appreciate it from that perspective. And so we're gonna break out of here, and I want you just to comment on just kind of the way the sequence works. The way the way Batman is kind of trying to hack these things. You've seen some of the gameplay before, right?
Yeah, because it's just really cool because, I mean, even the tool that Batman is using right now, it looks like something that he would have. They didn't go off the reservation and give him something that was out of his wheelhouse. Because Batman's all about having a lot of tools on his person at all times. So when you have all those tools, he needs space. So everything has got to be, small and compact. So no, that's just once again keeping with the character thematic and what he or she does, keeping it canonical and within the wheelhouse of that character.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Very, very interesting that you said that. I wonder how I don't know, having seen the way the way the Penguin also is this, okay, I knocked you out in the beginning, but you're still gonna keep being a thorn in my side. Because to be very fair, this whole conundrum was from when the Joker sent him on that little I would say escapade. And for those of you who are probably wondering, well, we got that footage lost, but if you've played the game already before, then you know exactly what I'm saying. It's where he goes and tries to take on the Joker, and he thinks the Joker is dead, but they get to play him, and Harley Quinn is acting like, oh, Mr. J. And then he walks directly into a trap, but that trap is what's led him to go look for Mr. Freeze. But then now, guess who's standing in the way? It's the Penguin. So what they've done from a story perspective is they've tactfully deviated that original task to a side task, and also to something that you've been talking about, which is exploring that rogue gallery. You know what I mean? Like, now we're going to go deal with Penguin again, even though he was a thorn in my side when I was I was in Arkham Prison as Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? But now he's also trying to be a thorn in my side as Batman, because Penguin doesn't know that Bruce Wayne's Batman, right?
Right, right. Yeah, and see, that's the whole thing. Like you just said, Penguin is just he. Okay, it's not that the Penguin is a minor player. It's just in the certain directives that Batman has at the specific time. Penguin is a minor annoyance, but let's not get it twisted. Penguin can be a very devastating main enemy when he gets angry, because like he's that hurt child that like people made fun of me when I was a kid. Now I have all this money and power. They're all gonna bow down to me. So he's got that complex. But Batman, when he's thinking clearly, he's like, okay, my tasks are these. What is the thing that I gotta take out first? So when Batman is thinking clearly, he will look at Penguin as a minor annoyance to his overall objectives, what he needs to get done. So, and once again, that's what makes a good rogue gallery. When given the right motivation, any person of his rogues gallery can become a big time menace.
Interesting. I'm trying to clear this roof. The enemies are strong. Like in this game was so gruesome. And I remember when you played on hard, the enemies are very hard to deal with. And they could just kill you if you weren't careful. You know what I mean? Like you just be thinking they're just joking around. Look at that one. Just meleeed me from behind. You really do feel the difference between hard. The newer one, Arkham Knight, I can play that one on hard without even any difficulties. But here, when I get in an encounter, my health bar, basically goes from from full to low, and at the same time, it goes to, oh, you better watch out, you can get killed. So let me upgrade. Let me get this upgrade in place real quick. Now, regarding the environment, right? What do you think about this? Let me get the better combat armor. Let me upgrade that. Yep, so I can take a beating. What do you think about this iteration of Arkham? Let's go to the skylines. I want you to kind of comment a little bit, because the open world for this is a kind of a limited open world. You know what I mean? There are places where you stop because you're on a specific island. And when it comes to the, when it comes to the design, when it comes to the open world aesthetics, what do you think, and you got to maybe kind of move down to 2011 a little bit, because yes, if this was 2020 or 2018, 2019, they'll probably do a better job. But at the same time, this game is better than many games that have come out subsequently after it. So comment on that real quick.
Well, yeah, for sure. Like everything is spot on, of course, because that's how Arkham is supposed to, well, not Arkham, Gotham is supposed to look. It's supposed to have that kind of like
this is Arkham.
Semi.
You're right.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting things mixed up there.
No.
How the world is supposed to be portrayed, it's supposed to have that semi-modern, but kind of like 1920s, 30s type vibe, something like that. So, they totally represent that here, and it's just really cool because as just like right there while he's sitting on that gargoyle, that's a part of the architecture of that time, and you find it all over the place. It's not just the buildings themselves, it's the little touches of architecture that's along with the building. So it's definitely clear to see that they took a lot of time and care and probably even love to really represent what the universe is supposed to be like, because you see it all over the place. I mean, the doors of buildings, the railings, the little statues or whatever sitting outside of a building, it all ties in together. You don't see a lot of things that are out of place because they overlook the whole entire swath of the whole entire universe and say, okay, this is the area period that we need to stick to, and we're going to do it because we need to do this game justice. And they definitely did it justice.
Very true. Very true. Sound effects, everything. I mean, just the combat. I like the way the combat flows. Now I'm playing from another screen and it's a little delayed on my own playing. So if I'm getting hit, it's not because I suck at the game. It's because I'm just a little delayed. So I'm playing with a little lag, but that's fine. I still can hold my own even with the lag or not. I mean, goodness, it's not like the combat is some kind of a huge Tekken game or something. Tekken is very complex when it comes to combat, but this game, for what it was, this was not trying to achieve fighting game status. This game was trying to achieve, you know, a practical application of what a superhero would be like in a comic if you played him in a video game. What do you think they hit that mark?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because with how Batman fights and his fighting styles, how he's able to switch up fighting stances on the fly and also implement his tools to take down his enemies. No, they hit that spot on. And Marvel, if you're paying attention, you need to take notes because you need to make a Daredevil game like this.
Yeah, we own it. We own DC owns the video game side when it comes to quality. Marvel is still trying. I don't know if it's maybe just because they're doing very well in cinematic, and even for a bit they were doing well in comics. You know what I mean? So I got to get this blade dodge on hard. They're a little faster. Let's get him. Take him down. Bam. Bam. And so, yes, that aspect is really fulfilling to, you know, to exactly what it is that that a comic should look like. And like you said, a Daredevil game following this pattern. What's really interesting is that you said that, and many fans from Marvel have said that. They will compare even new Marvel games to these games. I guess that's the impact that these games have made in the industry. So I guess we're going to wrap up this episode for now. We're at the 20-minute mark, and we're going to hop on back with another episode, and we're going to be talking about more of this, and you get to hear the perspective of Mr. FatNinja looking from the outside in to what it looks like to play an Arkham game. And I appreciate you guys for joining us in this journey. Thank you guys so much. If you guys want to leave a comment, if there are any themes you want to discuss regarding this, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Even if it's a topic about all of this superhero stuff that's not necessarily bound to Arkham, feel free to leave it in the comment section. We can touch on it as we walk through and play this game as well. There's so many hours of gameplay here that, you know, we should be hopefully able to cover, you know, those topics of your concerns and, you know, deal with them in a little bit more depth to our own knowledge. So, Mr. FatNinja, say goodbye to the audience. Let's sign out, and we'll see you guys later. Peace out.
All right, this is FatNinja kicking it with Gamey Daddy. Social enlightenment through positive gaming. FatNinja chilling like a fat supervillain, and when you least expect it, I stole your critical hit and your sandwich. Later,
Laters, guys.
Later, folks.
Let me get you a link.